Robin Advice Coach Jessica here today to talk to you about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I want to talk to you all today about the difference between being married and being friends. Too often we assume that because we are married, we are automatically friends. You hear people all the time say, oh, I married my best friend. He is my everything. And I think that's wonderful and the sentiment is great. Just like every other friendship known to man, you have to build the friendship in your marriage. You are not automatically friends. You are people who were physically attracted to each other. Maybe you liked how the other person thought. Maybe you liked what they did. Maybe you like how they dressed. You like their swag. I don't know. You could like anything or a combination of all of the above. But none of those things really speak to the sum total of what a friendship requires, and that is going through ups and downs and experiencing things together and coming out on the other side with your unit stronger than it was when you went in, just like with your best girlfriend or with your best guy friend. So I think we take the sanctity of marriage for granted in assuming that it builds something that it doesn't build, that the two of us or the two of you have to really work at every single day. And because that assumption is there, people don't work at it. They think that we are already friends, therefore I am entitled to you treating me in a particular way without me really having to convey or express those things to you. So I am here today to tell you that nothing should be assumed in marriage. Everything, it's like starting completely over. People say, oh, it's just a piece of paper and it doesn't matter. Absolutely not. I am completely of the belief that marriage is spiritual. And everything that you do in it really matters because it comes from within. And so if you don't assume that we are starting from ground zero as a new unit that is linked as one in spirit, building from that foundation, then you are going to be really frustrated with the outcome. The roles that we assume in marriage often are counterproductive or counterintuitive to the friendship that we desire. What do you mean? Well, let me explain. Men often look at marriage, and this is instinctual. I really believe, in my fabulous book, Relationship Rocket Science, I talk about how the traditional man is someone who really was built to make sure that we survive as a family, that we don't die. Instinctually, he puts a lot of his focus on our safety, on our welfare, and on our well-being. And when I say our, I mean the wife and the children. And I think that from a societal point of view, it's been widely accepted at this point that the mom is the nurturer and the dad is, just this guy over here that makes sure that we all eat and that the bills are paid. Of course, there are exceptions to every rule, people. Don't write me no letters, okay? Overall, the traditional man focuses generally on making sure that he can provide for his family. And so when he approaches the idea of being married to a woman, his focus really is on making sure that she has what she needs. She actually is his responsibility. And any man worth his salt, honestly, is going to take that responsibility very seriously. It's not going to be a game to him, and it is going to be his focus. The downside of that is that women and wives tend to want more from their husbands. So you'll hear arguments all the time. I'm paying these bills. I'm doing all of this. I'm out in these streets at 5 a.m. I don't come home till whatever time. What do you want from me, woman? I'm doing everything I got. You got everything I got, right? This is the frustration. This is the argument that we hear from men saying, I don't have anything more to give. What do you want from me? And the wife is expressing, well, yes, you do. I mean, hello, I'm not a robot. And by the way, I make money too. So we're clashing but missing each other at the same time. And I see this so frequently in my practice. This is the point at which we just start to separate and feel like we don't need each other when we actually do. Just because you don't know how to meet my needs doesn't mean that I don't have those needs. And I think that we've been ignoring our own personal needs for far too long. if a man is looking at his wife as if she is his responsibility, he has a difficult time utilizing her as a place where he can relax or where he can be himself or be free, because just like at his job, he's not, 100% himself. He doesn't have his feet up on the desk and doing whatever he wants to do. His jaws are clenched, and he's working hard. He's making sure that he's doing what he needs to do to provide for his family. And so when he comes home, it's just kind of like a second job. So it's difficult for women sometimes to understand that this is the unintentional and subconscious thinking, and this is where the behavior actually comes from, of being distant from your wife and not knowing how to be her friend. An example of how roles can get in the way of a friendship. So I'm a mother of 3 kids, right? And I love my kids. They're great, they're funny, they have wonderful personalities. When they get older, we are going to be freaking frack, right? And right now, honestly, I am the best friend that they have. But at the same time, I am not their friend. And they are aware of that. I'm not their friend. I can't be your friend and your mom at the same time. Not that men are the parent of women or husbands are not the father of wives. That is not what I'm saying. But because you assume a certain role, like your head has a hard time sometimes switching back and forth from being the provider to the person who is supposed to be relaxed, unguarded, and prepared to give the other side of who I am. There is literally a switch that needs to happen. But if they're not aware, if your husband isn't aware that this needs to take place, or that it even exists, then he's going to have a hard time coming out of that zone to meet your needs. Okay, so on the flip side of that, we talked about how men look at marriage as a responsibility, but women look at marriage from a completely different vantage point. They view marriage as a form of security. People are always asking women, so when are you getting married? When are you doing this? When are you going to find you somebody? When are you going to settle down? We are stalked and harassed about becoming a wife. Like, it's just what you're supposed to do. And the same thing goes for men. Marriage is something that you're just supposed to do. Like, the government wants us to drink milk. You're just supposed to be drinking milk. But okay, I'm sorry. I digress. Sorry. Women look at marriage or look to marriage for security. And rightfully so, because the man, the husband, has assumed the role of protection and provision. So what role is left? The person to receive those benefits. But because their goals are so different, we start missing each other. I want to feel secure, and in feeling secure, I need to know that you're happy. And how do I know that you're happy if when you come home, you're rushing out the door to go be with Ray Ray and them? Like, don't you want to hang out with me? I like football, or at least I'll pretend to. But that's a part of the problem. We're pretending, ladies. We're not being ourselves. We're not feeding ourselves. We're not being 100% who we are, so that he can learn exactly who we are and then decide how to be friends with her. What we're doing is we're being desperate, and we're following him, and we're doing all of the things that he likes to do, just in hopes that maybe he'll see you. He'll find you. He'll look at you and go, oh, I like her. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. You actually have to be yourself. You have to engage in activities that you love. You have to reach out to him, and then you have to articulate to him, honey, I don't just want to be your wife. I want to be your friend. And that means that there are some times that I'm going to do some things that I don't necessarily love doing to be in your space, but I'm going to expect that you do the same. I realize that maybe the ballet is not your forte. Okay, but guess what? You and me, so you lucky. Fellas, I'm just going to give you this little bit of advice here. If you are finding that your wife is frustrated with your friendships, if you're finding that it sounds like she's a little bit jealous of whoever it is that you spend whatever additional time that you have, or even it might not even be a person, it could be an activity. Like say you play a sport, she might be jealous of the activity. It's because of the light that shines in your eye when you think about that thing. If you think about your wife as less of a responsibility and more of something that you can glean love and security yourself from, and that she has a stake in the relationship as well, because her desire is to make you happy. But if she doesn't see that light when it comes to her come from your eyes, then you are going to really have a hard time with her being satisfied with you. So therein lies the problem. The marital satisfaction comes with the ability for each individual to make the other person happy. If I don't feel like I can make you happy, then I'm either going to stop trying or I'm going to make everybody in the house miserable because I can't. So take it from your love and advice coach, Jessica. You have to learn how to be each other's friend. Husband, go beyond the veil of being her provider and seek to be someone who is her friend. That's it, guys. This is really important. So I'm really going to ask that you engage in the conversation here. I'd love to hear your stories about whether or not you've been successful at making your marriage a friendship, or where you might be struggling in this area. If you want to reach me, please email me at advicecoachjessica@gmail.com. Get at me on Instagram. I'm at Relationship Rocket Science, and on Facebook as well, Relationship Rocket Science. And don't forget to get your copy of Relationship Rocket Science. Until next time, guys. Love you. See you later. Bye-bye.